Hey, what's up, world, and welcome to the 73rd edition of the Take One Podcast. I am August C. Jones, and we got kind of a packed show here. A few things had dropped a few days ago, some dropped recently, and then we're going to go over the box office and everything. So we have trailers to review, we have bits of movie news that came about or whatever recently that I kind of want to touch on. So here we go. We're going to start basically by jumping into the trailer reviews. So the first trailer that I'm going to be reviewing right now is Wreck-It Ralph 2. It had the second trailer and it's very similar to the first one. I like the first one a little bit better. This one is really basically kind of like almost a carbon copy of in a sense. But this one ends with, instead of it being primarily, Ralph at the end of, like it was at the end of the first trailer, this one at the end of it is Penelope at the end of the second trailer, with her meeting all the Disney princesses and them. She over here saying that she's a princess, and they're basically running down the list of what it means to be a Disney princess, from being poisoned, having, whatever the heck. And then they basically relate to her by saying, like, you basically have a guy who comes in and saves you and all this stuff. And she says, yeah, referring to Ralph. And then they were like, oh, she is a princess and stuff. It wasn't as funny. Literally, I mean, I'm already sold to see this movie. Put it like this. I'm already sold to see this movie. This trailer really didn't do too much for me. If this was the first trailer, I wouldn't have been impressed. I really wouldn't have been. The first one, I was impressed. I was like, okay, yeah, I can do it. I'm not talking about the teaser, but I'm talking about the first actual trailer with Ralph feeding the bunnies and stuff. And that was actually pretty funny. That was funny, having Moana, being a little girl. Usually they save little Easter eggs and little cameos like that for the actual film, but I'm looking at it like, man, that's Moana. I love the film, so I immediately pointed that out. That's what I meant. I immediately pointed that out, and so I'm like, yeah, okay. But this one literally is real similar to the first one, and I'm just kind of disappointed in that, because I thought I was gonna see a crazy amount of stuff. So far we haven't really seen anything, as far as this movie go. We don't really know what the synopsis, I don't know if they have it online. I need to check that, matter of fact, but I don't know if they got like what the movie is actually about. So far all we've seen is that Ralph and Penelope go to the internet and they just wander around and see things. More than likely, everything that's been shown is everything within the first act. That's it. We don't see anything more. We don't know there's who the villain is, or just what the struggle is, the conflict of the film. So, I mean, with this one, I'm already sold to see the film. I'm gonna go see it. I love the first one, but in this trailer, like I said, it's really just a carbon copy of the first one, of the first trailer, and it really didn't do anything for me. It didn't show more. I mean, it did show more or whatever, but it's really more of the same in a sense. So, I mean, it is what it is. So let's go on to the next trailer. So we have not a full-length trailer, it's more of a teaser trailer of sorts. The new BumbleBee movie that is a part of the Transformers universe more than likely may end up being the last Michael Bay related Transformer movie. Even though I'm not saying I say Michael Bay related. Michael Bay didn't direct this film, but it's related to his line of Transformer movies. And I wasn't really too impressed. I do like the new kind of like model to like Bumblebee's mask, which I don't get because he got a new cover for his face. I mean, it really didn't show anything. It's a teaser trailer, so I didn't really get too wowed by it. I'm very curious to see. It, because this would be the first Transformer movie without actually being Transformers movie without Michael Bay directing. So I want to see what type of flavor this film has to offer, because it's like I haven't really been like a lot of people just so tired of the Transformers movies. I really don't care, either or whatever. But the last Transformers movie, The Last Night, was just completely horrible. Just in my opinion, it was just horrible. Whether you expected, a lot from it, whether you didn't expect too much from it, it was just a bad movie. And it was like, this is just the end. I'm guessing like a lot of people have felt the same way, because that movie did significantly less than the film prior. So yeah, seeing this film is more of a curiosity, because I want to see what this new director. I forget who. I don't know who's directing it right now, and I know I could pause it, but it's just whatever. But it's not Michael Bay, so I'm curious to see it. But as far as the trailer, it really didn't do anything for me. It is the way it is. John Cena, we all know that he's been basically. I'm a wrestling fan. If you hadn't know, I do a wrestling podcast. But John Cena has been taken off from WWE, so he's been off and on for months. He'll make an appearance here for like a few weeks, and then he'll go, away and start filming and stuff. So I know that he's been filming a lot. I think he has other projects more than likely under his belt, but I know he's been filming a lot for this Bumblebee movie. And that's where a lot of his time has been recently and everything else. So he's been spending a lot of time off of, just wrestling with this movie. So I want to know, I'm thinking like, at first I thought he was going to be I don't know, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they have it on the line, but I thought he was going to be maybe not the main character, but like how Mark Wahlberg was in the last film, or the last two films, I think. What is it? The Last Night. I think that was 6, right? Or 5? Yeah, cause 4 was Age of Extinction, and then this one was number 5. Okay, so like Mark Wahlberg was like, he was like the main character, or they have what's her name? Gosh, in the new movie, I can seriously forgot her name. It's gonna hit me when I end this podcast, but she's the main character in this movie. And Haley Steinfeld, that's her name. I think I'm saying it right. Haley Steinfeld. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Okay, so she's the main character in this movie, and I thought that John Cena was gonna be like also the main character. They both was gonna be the main characters. He was probably gonna help her, but from the trailer, from the one shot we got of him in the trailer, it looks like he may be the villain, which I don't have a problem with that, because I haven't really studied John Cena too much as far as film. I've seen a few of his films or whatever, but I haven't really studied him as like an actor, seen his like latest stuff. I haven't seen Trainwreck, and I believe he came out with a movie that was like low budget. It was like a soldier type movie. I think it came out this year or maybe last year, but I know it came out recently. But I don't know, like, I mean, I'm curious to see what he's gonna do, how he's going to do up in the role, but whether he's a good guy or bad guy, it's whatever. But I don't know. But in any case, I mean, this is a teaser trailer just to give us a little flavor of like what to expect. I don't expect this movie to blow my socks off. This movie could come out the gate just like literally one of the best films, one of the best action films of this year. I doubt it, but it has the possibility of doing that. I don't know, but right now, it's not on my list. I mean, if you check my top 10 most anticipated list of this year, it wasn't on there. I don't even believe I had it in my honorable mentions. I didn't have honorable mentions on the top 10 I did or anything else, but it wasn't a movie that I was really looking forward to. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how it does, due to the fact that the last film we're coming straight off of is The Last Night. And looking how Solo did with, the last Star Wars films being The Last Jedi, which, yeah, that's kind of like, I wonder if history, I don't know. It's facts. It's, you got, I don't know. I just pieced that together just now. I just pieced that together. So we have a film franchise, not the same number or whatever, film franchise. The last movie wasn't perceived that well by by just critics and fan standards or whatever in The Last Jedi, and then Solo came out recently, which didn't do that well, which more than likely people didn't ask for a solo film, and then people are just still kind of like had a bad taste in their mouth from The Last Jedi. So I wonder if that's going to happen with this one. That's the question, because if this even is like good or whatever, it may not do as good as it would if The Last Night would have done better. And with The Last Jedi, The Last Night, and then you got spin-offs of current characters within the Star Wars universe. I mean, Han Solo isn't a current character anymore. He died. Spoiler alert. But I mean, it's still kind of like the same thing. You have an existing franchise, which last film didn't do that well. Then you have a spin-off of an existing character from the franchise in their solo movie, kind of like the origin movie or whatever, and it's like, is it gonna fall within the same type of thing? We don't know. But in any case, I just had to get that out, but I don't know. I'm just curious. Moving on to the next trailer. So I didn't see the first one. I mean, shoot me if you want. So the Lego Movie 2, the second part, they came out with a new trailer, a new full official trailer for the movie, and it gives about what this movie is about. I'm going to watch the Lego Movie. The first one, but I love this trailer. I loved it. I'm going to show my son when I get him this week. I'm going to show him because I know he's going to love it. He loves the first one. He loves that song, like, everything is awesome, awesome. He loves that. And they have a version of that playing up in this trailer. And the girl, I don't know her name. Like I said, I haven't seen the first one, but the girl, Wild Style. Yeah, that's the name. Wild Style, she listens to it. I think that's her name. Wild Style. Anyway, y'all correct me. But yeah, Wild Style points out, like, you need to stop acting like everything is awesome. And then in the background you hear, everything is awesome and all that stuff. And it's like, it's more of a new threat. And it made me chuckle a little bit. Like, this, it looks interesting. I am really wanting to see this. I'm definitely am going to go see this. I'm going to go take my son and we're going to hopefully enjoy this movie. I loved it. I seriously loved this trailer. This is a good ass trailer, and I'm just waiting on to see it. We didn't see too much of it. It was just more of Wild Style, and I don't know the main character name. Like I said, I haven't seen the movie, so don't shoot me. But in any case, it just shows really them and just basically the villain. And it's a female, and so they kind of do the same thing that was kind of in, now that I think about it, that was in the Wreck-It Ralph second trailer. How she basically, the villain talks to Wild Style and tells her that, like, you do all the kick-assery and all this stuff, and you do all this stuff, and then a weak male comes in and basically saves us all. And then she's like, well, yeah, that kind of is what happened. So it's kind of a parallel. I'm really wanting to see this. Will Arnett is coming back as Batman. So, and we see Batman in the trailer, but we don't hear him. We don't see any type of action or anything like that. We just see him getting captured. So, I wonder how big of a part he's going to have as Batman in the movie. So, but in any case, it was better than the other two trailers. Better than the Bumblebee and Wreck-It Ralph 2 second trailer. So, hey, I'm down to see this movie. So let's get away from trailer reviews and let's jump into movie news. So basically, it's a couple things that I want to talk about, more recent stuff, but this is some stuff that dropped like a few days ago. So it was basically hinted at that Wonder Woman 2 title, we don't know what it's going to be called. I mean, we thought, yeah, Wonder Woman 2, that's what it's going to be called. But obviously, that's not the official title. As creative chief Jeff Johns posted, I think it may have been on Twitter or Instagram or something like that. But he tweeted out WW84, which more than likely is going to be the title. Wonder Woman 84, I'm still undecided about that. I mean, there has been a lot of other titles that have been, I think, basically snagged up in like the came about or whatever recently.
Let's put 30 minutes on this. We have an hour show.
They already grabbed it up, being Wonder Woman Part 2 as in number 2, or Wonder Woman Part 2 as in the Roman numeral 2, or Wonder Woman Arrives, Wonder Woman Lives, Wonder Woman Cheetah, because Cheetah is the villain, so it's kind of like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, kind of like that. But I mean, simple to do it. Unless, I mean, none of the titles really grab me. Wonder Woman Lives, Wonder Woman Returns. That just sounds corny as hell. Maybe in the 90s or 80s, maybe that would have sound, good, or maybe even like early 2000s. I don't even think they probably would have had a different title, but it's all those are just kind of corny to me. Part 2, just Wonder Woman 2. That's simple. It doesn't need or maybe just Wonder Woman 2, Rise of Cheetah, something like that. I mean, that's simple. Maybe that's corny too, but to me that sounds better than all the other titles. But yeah, so as far as Wonder Woman 84, I don't know. I don't know. That sounds like a comic book title. Maybe it was a special 84th issue, so Wonder Woman 84. But with that title, I guess we can get that this is going to take place within the 80s, which is taking it out of continuity with the rest of the DCU, whatever you want to call it. I'm in between. I don't really call it DCEU no more. I refer to it as DCU. Sometimes I'm DC Movieverse. It's just whatever, fuck. But in any case, the DC Movieverse right now, it's like, how can I put it? It's like, okay. I'm sorry. As you can hear, I'm getting frustrated. The DCU, I'm probably do a whole video about it. But the DCU now is just so frustrating because they just fucked up everything that they were going to do. And it's a lot of things contributed to it. So one of the things is just the continuity. So with you saying Wonder Woman 84, okay, that was fine and dandy, whatever. Wonder Woman 84. Which basically is stating that it's probably going to have to do with the Cold War. I believe that's what one of the things I hear Red said. It's going to take place in 84, the year 1984, whatnot, and basically, whatever. Okay, so the thing about this is that we heard in Justice League, which came out last year, which is the last DCU movie that we came off of. Bruce Wayne basically made it to where he basically just said that, like, she disappeared for so many years, that she hadn't, resurfaced and all that stuff. She went into hiding. So if she went into hiding, how would she be out, in 84? So in that sense, from Justice League, we kind of got that from Wonder Woman, from the time that Wonder Woman took place, World War One. I believe that's, World War One. And then all the way from World War One all the way to BVS was when she resurfaced. So she resurfaced in 84, but y'all don't mention. It's just, I don't know, a lot of this don't make sense. The continuity is starting to get shot. It's starting to look like the X-Men movies. Not as bad, but it's starting to look like the X-Men movies. And that's just a bad thing all around. But I mean, it's a lot to be said about the DCU, but as far as, just, I know I'm going off topic and everything else, but as far as WW 84 or Wonder Woman 84, I guess I would just, if I was them, I would just stick with, Wonder Woman 2. I mean, or you can put it Wonder Woman Roman numeral 2, have it like that. Maybe 2 W's, and then behind you have the 2 I's or whatever for the Roman numeral 2 in back of it, and then, just do it like that. But it's starting to shoot this month, and I mean, we're gonna find out sooner or later. Maybe Comic-Con, maybe they're gonna drop it then, but I don't know. So moving on. Oh yeah, and Wonder Woman drops November 19th of next year. So yeah. Okay, and so moving on to Power Rangers. This is a little bit of an old news or whatever, but more recently, word came out about this. So as you know, or if you didn't know, Power Rangers were acquired, or the brand, the IP was acquired by Hasbro, who has basically, it's just the toy line that they do. They're responsible for Transformers, G.I. Joe, Mask, and just like certain shows of like the 80s and stuff like that. And they acquired it from Saban or whatever. I call him Saban. I guess Saban. No, I just say Saban because I know I've been saying that all my life ever since I started watching Power Rangers when I was a kid. But I've heard people say Saban lately, so it's like on and off Saban, Saban. So I just try to stick to Saban. Okay, Saban. But in any case, so they, as you know, they bought it for like over 500 million. So they got all, and it's not just the movie rights. They literally, Saban sold them everything in cash and stocks. That's basically what it is. And everything from their intellectual property. So they own everything around Power Rangers, from the merchandising, toys, everything, the title, the name, the TV shows, the movie rights, and I believe even like the older movies, the old TV shows and everything. They own all of that. So I believe that is. I could be wrong just a tad bit, but from what I read, that's what I gather, is that they own Power Rangers in its entirety, from past, present, going forward. They own Power Rangers. So basically, the whole thing is up in the air was for what's going to happen with the Power Rangers now. Because if you look at what Power Rangers did domestically, the latest Power Rangers, domestically it did 85 million, and worldwide it did 142 million. Which you think, you did some good, but from what they wanted, that's not a good number. Right now, I don't have a what it did, what the budget was, but basically, crap. But basically, they had in mind, they did the big no-no when it comes to movies like this, because every movie studio now wants to be Marvel, wants to be, have a cinematic universe, wants to do what Marvel is doing. Okay, so they had a budget of 100 million. I'm looking it up right now. 100 million. And they basically made back 142.3 million worldwide, and domestically did 85.3 million. So yeah, it didn't make a profit. It really didn't. I was one of the people that saw this movie and wasn't impressed. I saw it again recently, and it's like, the movie wasn't good. It really wasn't. I like the trailers. I like the look of the Power Rangers, but overall, just the movie, it was kind of like a mess to me. It was a mess. It wasn't like Suicide Squad. That's unbearable. That movie is just horrible. This movie was more of a competent movie, but it just didn't do Power Rangers justice. I wasn't looking for nostalgia with the movie, but it just didn't do. And I guess a lot of people felt the same way that I felt, because this recent incarnation of the Power Rangers it wasn't my cup of tea. It really just wasn't. My son liked it more than I did, and he's not even a Power Rangers fan. He doesn't watch the Power Rangers that's out now. If it's on, he probably might just watch it, an episode or whatever, but it's not something that he constantly watches. And it just, I don't know. So more than likely, Hasbro is going to start it over. Now, I was just thinking before I did this podcast and reading up on this stuff to make sure that I got a little bit of the knowledge behind everything of what I'm speaking. So they're adding it. I don't know if they're going to add it to what they're doing. So what Hasbro is going to do, I believe that they came out with a new production company film company called like All Spark Productions or Films or something like that. I mean, Transformers, whatever. So the idea is that they're more than likely going to reboot not Power Rangers. Well, I'm gonna get to that. But more than likely, they're gonna reboot Transformers and G.I. Joe. I know they came out recently and said that they're gonna have a Snake Eyes movie and then another G.I. Joe movie and stuff like that, but they may end up just rebooting the whole thing, just scrapping it and just starting from scratch, which I think that they should. I really do think that they should. And I was just thinking that they were in the gang of before trying to do a connective movie, like a crossover from G.I. Joe and Transformers. But because of everything that happened in both movies, you really couldn't cross them over without doing the interdimensional type. It would have been a big mess. So the best thing for them to do was to start over from scratch and reboot the Transformers, reboot G.I. Joe, and maybe other properties that they wanted to bring to live action, and maybe they can do a whole cinematic universe. The other properties that they're trying to bring out, Mask, and some other properties that Hasbro owns that they're trying to bring to live action. I don't really know too much of them, so I can't really like speak on it. But when it come down to it, I'll be down. You know, especially for a Transformers franchise series that don't have Michael Bay attached to it. Now, I don't have hate for Michael Bay like a whole bunch of other people do. But I can see that, like, yeah, he needs to get far away from there as possible. They need new directors, if not every single one, maybe every other one. You know, something like that. You know, I mean, certain people, they can stay on a certain property and still do, you know, good with it. From James, James Gunn with the, you know, Guardians property. A lot of people may not have like Volume 2, and I can see why. But at the same time, they still did good. And Christopher Nolan, and you got like a lot of other people that you can probably name off that had, did number 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, or how many sequels, and it still succeeded. They did good. Certain people don't need to be on a certain specific property for too long because everything starts to look the same and it just kind of go awry. And that's basically what happened with this one. Now I'm getting off track. Let me go ahead reel it back in. So where I was getting at it was that they're more than
the first trailer, and it really didn't do. It's cool, real pretty cool.
And since they have Power Rangers, they may end up, putting Power Rangers within that connective universe. And I had that thought before I did this podcast. I would not be opposed to doing it, especially if they put out a Transformers movie and it's good, like a reboot and it's like really good. If they put out a G.I. Joe movie, reboot, and it's really good. And they was talking about putting out a Power Rangers movie. Now, not saying like they're going to put out like 16 movies. They have all in mind for the Power Rangers, just a Power Rangers movie. No sequel in mind, just Power Rangers movie. And, that's good. Better than this last one from last year. And then they want to, combine them in a movie or whatever. I would be down. I feel like if they did, single movies of these characters and then brought them together, that would be awesome. I'd be down for it, especially if they all good. So I would love to see something like that. I'm reimagining of like all the properties. So I don't know, but as far as this Hasbro grabbing them, I mean, it may end up being the best thing. It may not. They always had the TV shows that are still generating money. They're still, they're still moving merchandise. So they're still going to make money off of Power Rangers until they can't. But as far as the movies, they haven't really been that good. I was a little kid watching the first Power Rangers movie, and I thought it was amazing. Looking back at it now, it's literally the show, and it's so crazy just to think that they literally had the same actors from the TV show in the movie, playing the same characters and everything. And it's literally has no connection to the show. And that's what I was looking for when I was younger, their connection. I know I'm going off a little bit, but it's like I was looking for that connection and they didn't have it. They brought, some of the, elements of the movie to the show, but no mention of Ivan Ooze in the show and blah, 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 and all that stuff. But in any case, it was, looking back at it now, it's basically the same as the show. Basically, corny lines, the same type of fighting and everything, just it had like a bigger budget. The second one was kind of the same, whatever. And then this one, I would say it's better looking than the other ones, but I would put it in the same realm. I really would. They tried a little bit better. You could tell they tried, but it was just a failure. But in any case, I would love to see a reboot of the Power Rangers, and I don't think that they're going to continue with the current Power Rangers in the movies that they had last year. I don't think they're going to continue on with it. It's not going to be a Power Rangers 2 from last year that continue in the story. It's just they're basically going to end it and reboot it. They haven't. I don't believe they came out officially and said it, but you can tell. You can tell. So let's. I talked a lot on that. I veered off a lot, but let me get right back on track. We got couple more things to talk about before we get to the box office segment. So basically, just recently, I actually got this today that Warner Brothers has came out and said that they're going to do a solo Joker movie. I'm not going to talk too much on this because I would talk for another 30 minutes on this. You'll have an hour show of me talking about this. As I try to cut myself off with the whole Wonder Woman thing, if you listen back, you can feel it. So, Warner Brothers came out, said that they're going to do a standalone Joker movie with Jared Leto, and that he's going to not only star in it, but he's going to executive produce. At this point, Warner Brothers, whenever you hear DC, you kind of have to take a deep breath and do the whole shaking your head thing, because what they're doing, they don't have no clue where they're going. It's like they're basically driving blindfolded. If they hit something and they can keep moving, even though the car is messed up, I don't know if this is the greatest analogy, but they're going to keep driving. And then they hit something else. And if they can turn the wheel and keep going, then they're going to keep going. And that's basically what they're doing. Wonder Woman, they ended up driving straight forward, not hitting anything. They were cool. But then Justice League came, bam, hit a rail. And then they're just going to keep driving the messed up car. They're banging it up against the sidewalk, signs, and everything else. But yet they have a destination in mind, but they can't see. So they're going to constantly keep bumping until they lift up that blindfold and actually start basically going on the track. That makes sense. I don't know if that's the best analogy, but that's what I can come up with right now. Because Warner Brothers, it's like they're going to keep going until they make no money from a product. We already, basically in short, mixed reviews on Man of Steel. I love the film, but overall it had mixed reviews. BVS was a big disappointment. I liked it. Not a lot. I liked it. But overall mixed, but mainly just mixed to negative reviews. Suicide Squad, split. Critics hated it. Fans loved it. Wonder Woman, the only movie in its catalog within this reincarnation in DCU, DCEU, whatever, that has both positive from fans and critics, and it's a financial success. The only movie. Justice League come out. I liked it, though it's still mixed. People hated it, people loved it. So now we have in the can Aquaman coming out this year, Shazam coming out next year. We still don't have a release date, even though they said that they were going to fast track Man of Steel 2. We haven't heard anything from it. The Batman movie. Recently they came out and said, and I'm not going to speak too much on this. Recently they came out and said that Penguin may be the new villain for it, but they don't have a secure villain. We all know the history of that. Ben Affleck, write, star, and direct. Writing, star, starring, and then he's not in the movie no more. Matt Reeves, he's on board, then he's off board, then he's back on board. Now this movie is not going to take place within the current storyline. It's going to be an Elseworld. You see my frustration. I'm trying to limit everything I'm saying. That way I'm not talking too much on this. You hear me? So just because I'm going to veer back to Jared Leto. So they still have other things in mind. They been talking about Flashpoint. That's been going through hella directors. No one wants to stay on the project. We don't know how Aquaman is going to look. It hasn't came out yet. It's coming out in December of this year. We don't know. Recently, they've been having 2 movies a year from DC. This is the only year ever since Man of Steel where we basically only have 1 movie. And as far as next year, I mean, you got Shazam and then Wonder Woman, so okay, that's 2 next year. But this year you have Aquaman, which I guess you could say is a good thing, so they can get their eggs, in a row or whatever. So, and basically they're still talking about the Joker movie with Martin Scorsese. I think he's like producing it or he's writing it or something like that, and I forgot who's directing it, but we have another Joker movie that's not connected to the DCU. So we're going to have 2 Joker movies, one that's not connected and one that is connected. Then we're going to have a Harley Quinn movie, a Harley Quinn and Joker movie, Suicide Squad 2 movie, a Birds of Prey movie, Nightwing, Batgirl. We're going to have a lot of movies. Or they said we're going to have a lot of movies. Or they're going to have a lot of movies. And so far, they haven't proven that they know what the fuck they're doing. They haven't came out and shown us that they know what they're doing. But yet, Jared Leto, he's in the Standalone Joker movie. Why? You don't have anything out that we can look forward to. You have your DC fanboys that love the films. It could be garbage and they still love them because they're fanboys. But then you have people who want to go to these movies and enjoy themselves. But yet you constantly hit us with movies that may or may not come out. We're going to do these movies. We're going to have a Penguin movie. We're going to have a Cyborg movie. We're going to have a Flashpoint movie. And the Flashpoint movie is going to be basically another Justice League movie. Because they're going to have all the other Justice League members in it too. Wonder Woman is going to be in there. Batman's going to be in it. Superman and everybody else is going to be in it. But what about a standalone Flash movie? What about a standalone Flash? Then we supposed to have a Black Adam movie. Then he's in Suicide Squad. You get my frustration. I'm trying to okay, I'm going to move on. But I'm going to just say this. Figure out what the hell y'all are going to do with your universe before you start throwing out, we're going to do this movie, we're going to do that movie, we're going to do that. Find a sense of what's going on. Because you have a Batman movie that may or may not come out that's not going to be connected to what you're doing now. You're going to have 2 Joker movies, coming out. And you're going to confuse people. I know a lot of people are like, people are not going to get confused and blah, blah, blah and all this stuff. But that's different from when you have it in the TV universe to the film universe. Because people can split the difference. People know that's TV, this is movies. You're not going to confuse the fans. But when you have a Joker movie come out that's not part of the DCU, this current storyline with Justice League, BVS and all that stuff, come out. It's not connected. Batman movie not connected. But then you have a Batman movie that's coming out. It is connected. Then you're gonna have a Joker movie that is connected to it's like, why? You might as well just scrap the DCU. Just scrap Wonder Woman too. Just say don't put that out. Do one or the other. Just do one or the other. Anyway, let me move on. This is going a little bit longer than what I wanted. So the last thing that I want to talk about in movie notes. So recently, we got basically concept art from a competent movie production company or movie film company in Marvel that basically put out 2 concept arts on Thanos and the Avengers for Avengers 4. And I don't really have a thought for them, It's concept art. It's not saying this is what it's going to look like, but you do have all the existing characters in one shot for the Avengers concept art. You have Captain Marvel. Basically, you have the all 6 original Avengers. Then you have Rocket. You have, and this is spoiler. This is spoilers. If you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, spoilers from here on. If you haven't seen it by now, sorry, but I'm just going to talk about this because this is giving out spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. Especially if you're holding out like, oh, I'm going to go see it. Like, no. Okay, so we have the existing characters that didn't get dusted when Thanos snapped his fingers at the end of Avengers Infinity War. And then also we have Rocket Raccoon, we have Nebula, then we have Captain Marvel, and I believe in Ant-Man. All up in the concept art. They're all seeming like they're wearing kind of similar clothing. So I guess some of them are kind of like honorary Avengers members. So I don't know. Like, we don't really know too much about Avengers 4. Just to put it out there. We know that it deals in time travel and stuff, but we don't know to what extent, how they do it, and everything else. More than likely, it's been thrown out the quantum realm, which was mentioned in Ant-Man, and even like in Ant-Man and the Wasp, they probably gonna basically tackle it. So we're gonna get a little bit more of what Avengers 4 may involve with Ant-Man and the Wasp. But one thing that I did notice from just the behind the scene photos of Avengers 4 and then just the concept art is that there's no Wasp in this. So that's what got me thinking that maybe at the end of the Ant-Man and the Wasp, that maybe one of the end credit scenes is the Wasp getting basically dusted. That she's going to just turn to ash. And that's what bring Ant-Man, I mean, besides that he, worked with the Avengers before, or at least one part of the Avengers team, or yeah, basically in Civil War, that's probably more reason why he's going to be in Avengers 4, and that's why Hawkeye is going to be in there, and of course we've seen Captain Marvel get caught at the end of Infinity War. But yeah, I mean, it's basically all the Avengers, everybody, all the surviving characters from Avengers Infinity War in one shot. And then we see the Hulk as the Hulk, but he's wearing a suit. That's one thing that stood out to me from when I first looked at it. That's the one thing that stood out to me, is that the Hulk is wearing basically a kind of, I ain't gonna say full body suit because it cut off at the hands or whatever. It's long sleeve and it cut off at the hands, and then of course, like around the neck and stuff. But I was like, I wonder what's up with that. And this, I don't believe this is just a concept art. I don't think all this is actually going to be in the film of what, certain characters are going to be wearing, what they look like, but, whatever. But, I mean, it looked pretty cool. I can't really say too much on it because I don't know if that's actually what they're going to be wearing and stuff up in the film. So, I mean, it is what it is. And then the other concept art photo that we had was Thanos in kind of like looked like a new armor or whatever, kind of like battle armor that he had at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War when we first see Thanos, and even up in the flashback scene. It looks similar to that, but it looks slightly different. And he has the Infinity Gauntlet on his hand still. In this concept art, it doesn't look damaged like it did at the end of Avengers Infinity War. It looks basically brand new, like it did, whatever. So I don't know what's up with that, if he built it or fixed it or whatever, but, he still wields it. And because he's still holding it, more than likely it still holds power. That it just didn't get completely damaged, that he still has some power with it. And also, he's holding a kind of like a weapon that's a double-bladed, kind of like long-inch blade. That have blades on the end of each end. And it's like, maybe it's something major that happens up in this movie. Because I pointed out to my brother and other people that we really didn't get a sense of Thanos in combat action. We did, in a sense, with the Hulk, because of how he went at him and beat his ass. But as far as the rest of the movie, if you look at it, he really just kind of used the Infinity Gauntlet with everything. He wasn't really like fighting too much or whatever. He really didn't show how strong he is, just in combat without the Infinity Gauntlet. So in this movie, with it, I think that we're going to see a more vicious Thanos. I think that's what they're gonna do because if he still has the Infinity Gauntlet and it still has juice in it, I think that they're going to try and get it from him again, and he's going to have to come out and fight them. And more than likely, it's going to be a war. It's going to be a huge battle, probably with him, because he still has a Terry army. He still more than likely has a big army. You know, he still has strength as far as just army. And so I believe that it's going to be something where the Avengers are going to go at him. So I don't know, but in any case, it looks cool. It looks cool. I like it, but like I said, I take this with a grain of salt because, like it said, it's concept art. Doesn't mean that this is what's going to actually be in the film, because they can have concept art of just different outfits, different things that may or may not be in the film, or may differ from just what they came up with to how it's going to be in the film. So I mean, I like it. It's cool. Nice little pictures to look at, but I mean, I just take it the way it is. Those are just pictures. If we see the first trailer and they actually are wearing the suits, and we see Thanos with the sword and he's going against like Iron Man again and stuff, then I can be like, okay, yeah, I can start having more of an opinion. But for right now, it is what it is. So, since we're getting close to an hour, this is going to be my first time doing an hour show within a long time. So, I'm going to try and make this short. So, we're going to jump right into the box office segment where we talk about the movies that came out this weekend. And so, basically, getting into it, my last week prediction for this past weekend was that Solo was going to still stay at number 1. Upgrade was going to be at number 2. Deadpool 2 was going to be at number 3. Action Point was going to be at number 4. And Avengers Infinity War was going to round off the top 5. That certainly wasn't the case. I was, 2 movies off? Yeah, I was 2 movies off. Because Star Wars, Solo, I'm about to say Star Wars, a Solo story. But Solo, a Star Wars story, did come in at number 1, with the weekend taking 29.3 million. What did it do last week? It did 84.4 million. Wow. So yeah, the weekend, it took in 29.3 million. Domestically, it's at 148 million. Worldwide, it's at 264 million. Then at number 2, we had Deadpool 2. Coming in at number 2, with the weekend doing 23.1 million, with the domestic bringing it to 254 million, which brings its world total to 598 million. And Adrift, which I didn't think was going to be in the top 5, came in at number 3 with 11.6 million over the weekend, which brings its world total to 11.9 million. Then we have Avengers Infinity War jumping to number 4. And yeah, I think Avengers is gonna stay up in the top, gonna stay there. I thought it was gonna really be pushed to number 5, but yeah. So Avengers came in at number 4 with 10.5 million. Domestically did 643 million, and it's still at 1.9 billion in the world box office. So it slowly but surely is gonna climb up into 2 billion. So be looking out for it. And then we have rounding up with the top 5, which is Book Club. Over the weekend, they have 7 million, which brings its world total to 47 million. And just to talk about the other movies that came out, Upgrade did 4.6 million over the weekend, and then Action Point did 2.3 million over the weekend. So what really stands out, just basically my predictions. I thought that, Upgrade was going to be in there because I saw more trailers for Upgrade than, Adrift and what's the other one? Action Point. So I thought Upgrade was going to crack the top 5, but apparently I was wrong. So Adrift made it there, and I guess it's more of a different movie because it's a kind of like a romantic film, romantic thriller, I guess you can say. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't really know what all it entails. I mean, I know what it entails, but as far as the tone and everything else, but I mean, I guess because we've been having these blockbusters drop lately. I mean, we've had other films drop, but we didn't have some big blockbusters drop lately, and so I guess this is just a kind of like a turn for something different that people wanted to see a movie like Adrift rather than Upgrade, another action film, or Action Point, which brings Johnny Knoxville, who really hasn't been relevant in years ever since Jackass. So I don't know. Like, I mean, that really what stands out to me. I really thought Upgrade was up and down. I did see that. I liked it. I really did. It wasn't. I wouldn't put it in my top 10 best of this year, but it was a good movie. It really was. It was. I really enjoyed it. And that's just what really stands out to me. Really, just the movies that I thought was gonna be in the top 5 wasn't in the top 5. So I mean, it is what it is. What it is. So coming this week, we have 3 movies that are coming out this weekend. Actually, all of them I really want to see. All of them. All of them I really want to see. The first movie is Hereditary, which I'm about to start looking up the synopsis. So every time I do this for the podcast, I can deliver what the movie is about or whatever, or give you a short briefing of like what the movie is about. But it's just more about like this woman's mother passed, and like I guess she passed down a curse that like kind of like is attached to their daughter. And it looks like one of them artsy, fartsy, weird horror type films, but I'm very intrigued of what it's going to entail, and I really do want to see it. Hotel Artemis is a movie whose trailer I say maybe about a month ago. I've heard about it before, but I've only seen the name or something when looking up on the internet and everything else. But I didn't really think nothing of it until I saw the trailer, and it looks really good. It basically puts me in the mind frame of John Wick with the Continental, and that's basically, I don't know, like I don't really expect too much of that movie. It kind of looked like a blend of John Wick mixed with The Purge, because that's what I get from it. Just a feeling like The Purge with inspiration from John Wick with the Continental. So, and it's just about what is it like? This guy brings a person into this hospital where this woman, Jodie Foster, cleans up like just assassins or whatever. That way, they don't have to go to a hospital. They can go to this, and she'll just patch them up. And I guess these guys are looking for the guy that's being stitched up and want him dead, so they have to protect, like these assassins have to protect them. I could be off. Like I said, I have to look at the synopsis, but this is what I got from the trailer. But it looks pretty decent. It looks like it's going to be a good action film. I don't expect too much from it, but it just looks like it's going to be a good action film that I would enjoy. And then we have Ocean's 8, which is a spinoff. I guess you would, not really a spinoff. How can you categorize it? I would say, just for the hell of it, I just call it a spinoff. It is connected to within the same world of the Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12 movies. I think they had an Ocean's 13 or whatever. And it's basically George Clooney's character's sister, who's basically in the same line of business, and she's doing the same thing. She wants to pull off this heist or whatever, and so she's putting together a team of like women. So it's gonna be all women cast, and basically just going to pull off a heist. It looks pretty interesting. I've never seen. This is don't shoot me. I've never seen any of the Ocean's films with George Clooney or any of them. I've never seen any of them. I never had really not passion, but a curiosity to see them. Now I kind of do, but I haven't seen any of them. So if I end up seeing this movie and not really seeing the other ones, they're probably gonna have some references that I'm not gonna get. And if I haven't seen the movie, then whatever. But it looks pretty cool. The movie, out of all these 3, because all these 3 I really do want to see. I would say Ocean's 8 because I haven't seen the other ones with George Clooney or whatever. I'd say that would be like the last one. So that would probably be number 3 of like priority list of me wanting to see. As far as the first one, top priority would be probably Hereditary. I'm a sucker for horror films. It looks crazy. I'm probably going to be disappointed by the end of it, but I say that will probably be the movie that I'm most eager to check out just to see if it is a good horror film. Hotel Artemis is a movie that I don't think a lot of people really know about. It's a good action, it's a good action film or whatever, but I don't think too many people are on it or whatnot, but that will probably be second on my list. And then, like I said, Ocean's 8 will be number 3. So yeah, list of priorities of movies that I want to check out would be Hereditary, Hotel Artemis, and then Ocean's 8. And so with that, let me go ahead and quickly get into my predictions. So as far as my predictions go, for number 1, I think that Ocean's 8, because it's a recognizable IP, is going to come in at number 1. Then we have Hereditary, which that's kind of like more of like, I'm hoping that it's up in the top 5, but I think because it's a horror film, it may end up being number 2. Solo, because how it dropped from 84 million one weekend, and then just over this weekend did 29 million. I think that is not going to really just decrease by a little. It's going to probably go to about 10 million. So I believe that's going to be at number 3. Even if Hereditary don't do that much at the box office, I believe that's going to do more than Solo. And then Drift is going to be at number 4, and Avengers Infinity War is going to round off the top 5. So that wraps up this podcast, episode 73 of the Take One podcast, to be exact. I have nothing else for you. This was a real lengthy one. I had some stuff to say, but I mean, overall, like, I believe that this went good. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say, and until next time, I will catch you guys later. So hey, before you guys leave this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and give this video a like, because it will really help me out. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And you see that little bell? That's the notification. Turn that on, that way you'll be notified for anything that drops on my channel. And if you look down in the description below, you will see all the links to my social media, so go ahead and follow me on those if you haven't already. As well as there are links to my other content that's on the channel, from movie reviews to podcasts to so much more. And I hope to see you guys here again next time. So thanks and peace out.